hope you're well and having the most incredible day. As always, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, we are going to be going through all of the books I read throughout August. I got through 11 books this month. 11 whole books. I am so impressed with myself. I really smashed it. I feel very content. I mean, I've bought more than 11 books this month, so my TBR is not going down, so kind of defeats the point. But I have a really good range of books here to share with you today, so I hope you guys are excited. And as always, I would love to know down below what books you read this month, because I just love to know about it. There is a car driving past. So annoying. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video, but before I dive in, I do just want to say, if you guys are watching me for the first time, hello and welcome. Make sure you subscribe if you like book content, lush content, vlogs, everything in between. Make sure you subscribe, as 59.2% of you guys watching haven't yet subscribed, and I would love to hit 11,000 subscribers this year. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. But without further ado, we are going to dive right in. I hope you guys enjoy and carry on watching. So the hard thing for me personally is that because I've read 11 books, when I go back to the first books I read in the month, my brain just can't fathom what the story was about. So I'm going to try my best to give you a brief synopsis of each book, but I am so sorry if it kind of seems vague, but it's probably because I just can't remember at all what the book is about. So we're going to start off with an absolute scorcher of a book. So this is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I did read on my Kindle. Now, I own this book, and I said to myself that I wasn't going to purchase a book on Kindle if I already own it, but this is huge. Like, the size of this book was just far too overwhelming, and I just couldn't read it. Like, I don't break spines, so like, it has no flop. Like, I just couldn't do it. So I did buy it on the Kindle, and I absolutely love this book. I can't really tell you what this is about because this is the third book in a series, but essentially this is about fantasy, fairies, romance, action. It's got everything in it you could want in a book, and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. The only thing about this book I would say is that I wanted more Reese at the start, but the end was insane. Like, the ending had me like gripped to my Kindle. I could not put it down. It was so good. And yeah, I just can't really say much about it without giving it away, but it was a 3 stars. I absolutely loved it. And if you want to read a fantasy book but you don't know where to start, I highly recommend the Akatar series, because it was incredible. I absolutely loved it, and I would highly recommend. So yeah, that was the first book I read in August. I loved it. The next book I picked up in August was Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese. Now, originally in my notes I put 5 star, but now thinking about it, I am going to give it a 3, because I cannot really remember what this was about. It clearly wasn't life-changing for me, so it doesn't really deserve a 5 star, not to be horrible, but I did enjoy this book. So this is about Jamie and Bea. Essentially they deal with a lot of anxiety, autism between them, so it is a very nice read to read a bit of that. I really enjoyed it. The thing about this one, it was a very predictable book, I guess. It's genuinely like, it was a great book, but it was very predictable. You kind of know what's going to happen. It's forced proximity meets fake dating. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I can't really say much more about it because I don't really remember a lot about it, but it was a cute read. I got it from the works. It was nice. It wasn't life-changing. I can't really remember what it was about, but it was good. So yeah, that was the second book I read. The next book I picked up was Geo and Grace by Willow Winters and BB Hamill. So this is part of the Discreet series. This book is about a kidnap spicy romance trope. These books are very kind of, you have to like dark romance to like these, I think, because they are very heavy and there is a lot that goes on in these books. I will say I did enjoy it. I gave this one a 4 star. I love Willow Winters' books. I think they're really good. This one kind of was more of a short story. They aren't very long. It was 250 pages, but I would have loved a bit more background, a little bit more kind of the characters' personalities in this book. I feel like that was kind of rushed, but the actual story was good. It was predictable, but again, it's a nice read for me for when I've read something like heavy fantasy. I mean, this is a heavy dark romance, but I still really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is a 4 star. This one is about Grace, who basically gets kidnapped by Geo. He's part of a kind of mafia style gang, I suppose, and her dad, I believe, is like the enemy of his kind of gang, if that makes sense. It is good. It was quite predictable, but it was very good. Next up, moving on to my book club pick of the month. If you guys didn't know, me and my friend Kelsey, we run a book club, and it's the Across the Pond Book Club. That is a tongue twister. I have a whole video on my channel. If you just search for Across the Pond Book Club or Book Club, you'll find it. But we basically have each picked one book per month. Wait, no. We each picked one book for alternative months throughout the year. So we picked these like a year ago. Next year we're going to pick them like 1 or 2 months in advance, because I feel like we've picked books that were popular like ages ago, if that makes sense. But anyway, for this month's pick, it was Kelsey's pick, and she picked The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and I did like this book. It definitely wasn't like my favourite kind of book. I feel it kind of goes back and forth in time, and going back in time and reading that, I found it quite hard to read it because there was a lot of sort of language there that wouldn't be used nowadays, so I did find it quite hard to read it in my normal speed, if that made sense. I kind of had to go up and down in the kind of sentences to understand what they were saying. I hope that makes sense, but it was really, really good. I did enjoy it. Overall, I gave this one a 3-star. I did enjoy the story. I thought it was very different for me and something that I wouldn't normally pick up, because there was zero romance in this book. And essentially what this is about is you have a girl called, what is her name? Caroline, and she basically goes to London because her fiance, or no, her husband, sorry, cheated on her. So she decided to go to London on their kind of 10-year anniversary holiday on her own, and she found this little tiny bottle in the kind of mud. She goes like mud digging or whatever it's called, and she finds this old bottle and she decides to look up the history, and then you kind of jump back in time to read about that history. Does that make sense? Like, you're kind of going back and forth between characters, back and forth between time, and you find out that that old little bottle was part of an apothecary like years ago, where a woman would basically sell poison to women to kill their husbands, or men in their lives basically. And it's a really good story. It was very, very interesting, but again, there was zero romance in it, so I did kind of miss that, but I did enjoy it. So yeah, a 3-star from me. I would recommend it if you don't want a romance book. It was a nice change, and I love the cover. Like, it's absolutely beautiful, so it was a good one to go for sure. Next up, we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. As I've said in many a video, I am trying my best to get through all of the books that I've kind of started that are part of series, because I started too many and it was getting too much, so I decided to jump into this one. This is the ACOTAR novella. It was very short but a very cute, easy read. It's 230 pages. It's actually kind of like the size of a normal book really, but yeah, it was a short read compared to the others, and I absolutely loved this. This was a 5-star read again. Novellas for me are very, very hard to be 5 stars because sometimes I feel like they're not necessary, but this was so cute. In my notes on my phone, I basically said, how did a cake make me emotional? And I would love to know if you guys have read this. Did the cake bit make you emotional? Because as I was reading it, I was feeling so emotional. I will say that Nesta in this book really annoyed me, and there is a dog barking outside. That was Thor. There's a dog barking outside, and now Thor's getting really mad because there's a dog outside, so he's run downstairs and is probably going to bark at it now. And it's raining. We've got it all going on today, guys. Sorry about the noise. But anyway, Nesta in this book really annoyed me. Her attitude was just too much. And I know that the 5th book is about Nesta and Cassian, and I am excited to read it because I've heard incredible things about that book. But I will say that she really was just trying my patience in this book. It was really annoying to read because she was just making the whole situation about her, if you know what I mean, and it was really annoying, and I am so sorry if you can hear the rain. It's incredibly loud, but we're gonna keep going. But anyway, this was a 5-star. I loved it, but Nesta was annoying. That's how I feel about it. I do apologise. I feel like the heavens have opened and all you're gonna hear is rain, so I do apologise if that's annoying, but we need to power through because I have so much to do today, so we're gonna carry on. The next book I picked up was Bad Girl Reputation by, I just threw it, Elle Kennedy. This was really good. I gave this one a 5 stars. I absolutely am obsessed with Elle Kennedy's writing, and this is part of a trilogy. So you have, what is it? Good Girl Complex. I read that I think last month or the month before. It was so, so good. I really enjoyed it. And then you've got, is it called That Summer Girl or something, which I bought recently. So excited to dive into that one as well. But this was incredible. It is a exes to lovers romance, which I am gonna say is not my favorite because the constant like back and forth is really annoying. Like, do you love each other or not? Do you know what I mean? Like, make up your damn mind, because it was so irritating reading this, but it was really good and I liked it so much that I gave it a 5-star anyway. I would highly recommend it. This one is about Evan, who is the brother of the guy in the first one. They're twins, so this is about his kind of romance. And you have Genevieve, who is kind of the, I mean, it's his ex-girlfriend, but she's very, I don't know how to describe her. She's like she's very sassy. She's a sassy gal, and essentially her and Evan break up. She moves away and then comes back like a year later, and it goes from there. But it's so good. I love the kind of friends in this. I love the world. I just love this series so much and I highly recommend it. Can I tell you again what happens? Not really, but it was good. It was a great read. Clearly I gave it 5 stars. I loved it that much. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. So the next book I picked up was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. Now I haven't owned this book for that long, really, kind of thinking about it. I've probably bought it only a couple months ago, but something about it just drew me in. I really wanted to read it this month, so I picked it up and I did really enjoy it. I gave this one a 4 star and I would say somehow I got through the first 150 pages in one sitting, which is like not like me at all. I find the first 100 pages really hard to get into, so that was really good for me, considering that that is usually what I do. I usually read like 50 pages and then I'm like, I need a break. So that was really, really good. And this is essentially about Bradley and Celine, I forget their names, and essentially they are friends to enemies to lovers. So they are friends when they're younger, something kind of happens and they stop talking, and then they almost kind of start talking again. The love is kind of instant, I'm not gonna lie. There's not really much of a build-up. Like, it is very cute and there's some cute moments, but it's not very romantic. There is no spice, but it was a really nice read. I will say, if you want something that's just cute, this is the book you should read. It was really, really fun, and again, I give it a 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I don't know why I would, like, what I would want for it to be a 5 star, because I don't actually think this book needed any spice or anything. It was almost just nice as it was. It was a nice like brain cleanse. It was really good, but yeah, it just wasn't my absolute favorite, but I would highly recommend it. It was good. The next book I picked up, I'm actually surprised I've only just picked this up, because this author has to be one of my favorite authors of all time. I love her so much, so it shocks me that I've only just picked up this book, but that is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I don't know what it was. I think because I loved the first 3 books so much, I just didn't want this series to end, so I kind of put off reading it. But my god, this book, this was incredible. So if you don't know much about Emily McIntyre's books, they are Disney, not retellings, but they're just inspired by Disney. So this one is inspired by Aladdin. So you have got Julian and you've got Yasmin, and then you've got Aiden. Do you see what I mean? So you have like Aladdin, you have Aiden, you have Yasmin instead of Jasmine, and that kind of thing. And essentially what this one is about, you've got Yasmin, who is the kind of princess of this guy who has a lot of money, and he's really, really unwell. And you've got Julian, who is the guy, her dad's like right-hand man, if you know what I mean, but he's like the evil character, Julian. And then you've got Aiden, and Aiden is sort of Yasmin's secret boyfriend. They've been meeting for a very, very long time, and kind of falling in love and that kind of thing. And at the start I was like, oh, I love Aiden, like I feel really bad for him because he almost gets pushed to the side and things happen between Yasmin and Julian, which I'm not going to go into, I don't want to spoil it. But essentially Julian's original kind of motive was to take her dad's place, take the business, kill off Yasmin and have all this money, but obviously it doesn't go to plan. This one is like a marriage of convenience, enemies to lovers vibe, and I don't know what it was about it, but I absolutely loved it and I fell in love with Julian so much, so it shocked me. It was incredible. Another 5-star read from Emily. Every book by her I absolutely love. Every book in this series has been a 5-star read. I just love the matte cover, I love the imagery on the cover, just the whole thing is just incredible, and I love Emily McIntyre so much. So yeah, just insane. If you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. And I still have Crossed yet to read, which is another one of hers, and then she's releasing one more, which everyone is telling me it might be the Little Mermaid themed, which if it is, I'm going to die. So yeah, I'm so excited. So yeah, this was a 5-star read. It was just perfection. I loved it. If you take anything from this whole video, it's to read this series. It was so good. The next book I picked up was actually one that I bought recently for my most recent video, which was Authors Do My Book Haul For Me, and this is Cross-Checked Hearts by Callie Mal. Now I will be buying the whole series because the cover of these is beautiful and I need to have them all on my shelf obviously, but this one was really good. This is a hockey romance, which I don't actually think I've read any hockey romances yet. I feel like I'm like yet to get on the hype of that, but this was really, really good. I gave this one, let me check, I can't remember. I gave this one a 4 stars. I said it was a cute little read. I flew through it. It was very spicy. However, he said baby girl 712 times more than necessary. Like, I just don't like that. I don't know what it is about it, but like baby girl just grosses me out. Something about it just ain't for me. But this is about Logan and Isla, and Logan was also like brother's best friend as well. It was all kind of going on. So you've got Logan, who is Isla's brother's best friend. They've been friends forever. Isla and Logan used to kind of have like romantic moments together when they were younger, like they would kiss, do you know what I mean? And then Logan moves away to go to college and they kind of lose touch. And then Isla goes to college and actually moves in with Logan and her brother. So it's like forced proximity, brother's best friend, secret dating vibes. It was just good. It was really fun. It was a fun read. I flew through it. It's 300 pages and I did enjoy it. There's not really much else to just like go about it. Like, things happen. Obviously her brother finds out, he is fuming, but then something happens so that he kind of forgives her. But yeah, it was a good read. I highly recommend it, and I will be buying the entire series. So yeah, love that one. The next book I actually don't have to show you, which is very unlike me. I read this one on Kindle and I was reading it and sort of realizing that there was 400 pages in this book, and I was thinking, I swear in my physical copy there is not 400 pages. So I went down to my physical copy and I had a look and there was 280 pages. I then realized that the actual book inside the cover was the wrong book. It wasn't the same book at all. So I've returned that one. I've had to reorder the paperback of this one. It was all bizarre. I just couldn't believe it. I kind of opened it and thought, like, that's weird. And it was like a fantasy book by a completely different author. So that is what you get when you buy books on Amazon. I will say, make sure you open the covers because it was not the right book. But that was Give Me a Reason by A.L. Jackson. That was it. I really liked this book. This again was another one of the books that I bought in my previous video for authors picking my book haul. This one I gave a 3-star. So basically this one, I'm going to try and describe it. This is a teacher who needs to get more money because her dad is having a few issues with the school that he works at. So he owns the school, and they're having a lot of money issues because of something that happened, which you find out in the book. And she decides to go and get another job in a club, and the club owner, who is called, what is his name? Trent? Might be Trent. Anyway, he's like a big, dark, handsome like kind of guy, and he owns the club, so he hires her. It gave me like instant Edward Cullen and Bella vibes, like insta love. There was no dating whatsoever. It just got very intense very quickly. Like, there was a lot of I would die for you, like your soul is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen vibe, and that just like wasn't for me. I gave this one a 3 stars. I will say that Gage, who is the son, so it's like dad vibes, was adorable, and like he made me emotional, so I gave him a star on his own. So it was a 3-star. It's a 3-star book. It was good. It just wasn't my favorite. It was a bit too long because of like the filler of like, there was too much describing of things. Like, it would be a situation where they'd have breakfast and it was like 2 chapters long. Like, it didn't need to be like that, but it was a cute story. I loved the kind of idea of it. It was just a little bit long. I will say it was spicy-ish. It had a few dark scenes in it, but it was good. So yeah, that is the vibe of it. It was called Give Me a Reason. Did I say that already? I'm losing the plot, but anyway, it was good. It just wasn't my fave. And the last book I picked up in August was one which I didn't even think I was going to read because I read the first one. I didn't love it. However, I need to watch the series and I want to read the books first, and that is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. Now, I only bought this because I found it in Waterstones and it was the same spine and cover as the first one that I have, so I thought, well, I need to buy it so it matches. But this one, I gave this one a 3-star. I actually liked this one a bit more than the first one. However, I tell you what it is about this story that annoys me. Belly just needs to make up her damn mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, make up your mind. Which brother do you want? Because it is the most infuriating thing reading it, and I can imagine watching the series. It's also really annoying. If you don't know what this series is about, essentially you've got Belly, you've got Conrad, you've got Jeremiah. She basically has loved Conrad her entire life, but then her and Jeremiah are like besties and he loves her and she's like not leading him on, but like things happen and it's just a bit bizarre. I gave this one a 3-star and I somehow read this book in one day. I worked from 9 until 5:30, bearing in mind, and I read this in the entire day, even though I didn't love it. But I will say that like the kind of font is large, it's kind of big spaced. I don't know what kind of came over me, I just binged this book. I basically said this was really fast paced, it had short chapters. If you've read the first one, then the second one is basically about something really sad happens at the start, and if you've read the first one, you're probably going to guess what happens at the start, but I'm not going to ruin it in case. And then there is an issue where Conrad runs away, and then they go find him and they understand why he ran away, and it's like fixing that, and that is kind of it. Like, not a lot happens in this book. 14-year-old me would have loved it, but yeah, it wasn't my absolute favourite, so I gave it a 3 stars. If you guys want to watch the series but you want to read the books first, I would recommend it. You could probably read all 3 in like a weekend, but it just wasn't my absolute fave, so it was a 3 star. I don't regret reading it, but it just, Belly is annoying, so that is why it's a 3 star. So that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you guys so incredibly much, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. But yeah, that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.